Hey guys, it's Jared from Authentic Soundware here with a quick informal tutorial. We got a bunch of new people using the Commodore, and I got an email today from someone with a pretty specific question about how to use the Commodore in the context of making like a lo-fi genre style track with sort of like an emotional melody part over a sort of down tempo lo-fi beat. So I've made a little track here real quick, and this is nothing special, just a splice loop of some drums, bass, a little keyboard thing, and one melody track played by the Commodore. The user had a specific reference in mind for the thing they wanted to do, and I'll put a link to that in the description so you can hear the original. I don't want you to think I'm like copying the guy's thing. This was just sort of a quick experiment to show, how I might approach doing that. So let's listen to the track. Okay, so first things first, let's just talk about the tone I set up. I disabled the amp, I turned off all the tape, all the effects, and I rolled off a little high end. I turned off the delay, and I added an amp simulator. I just used Guitar Rig for this quick example. I have the Roland Jazz amp, some space echo, and some reverb. I didn't really go to town on that. I just put that together for this demonstration. So let's listen to the guitar isolated. Okay, let me just pop this back open again. So if I zoom in here, you'll see I've got the, in the low main key switch area, so these are the main key switches in the Commodore starting on C1. I'm using almost exclusively, I am exclusively using legato mode 1 and legato mode 2. Legato mode 1 is the hammer-ons and pull-offs, so that's where if you play an overlapping note, you get the sound of the player like pressing their finger down on the string that's already sort of ringing out without re-plucking the note with the pick. So the unoverlapping notes are picked, and then like if I play this, whoops, I'm in legato mode 1. Let me go to the I'm in legato mode 2. So let me turn this on here. Those are all picked, but then if I play an overlapping note, so the way I've done this in most cases is to have the legato play on the off beats, but if the melody note is on a beat, it's plucked. So if I zoom in here, you'll see that these two notes overlap, but these two notes do not. Overlap, no overlap. So let's listen to that. Those sort of key notes in the melody get plucked with the pick, so they're clear. And then here I switch to the other legato mode 2, which is where the player slides their finger up the string from the original note to the new note that they're going to play. And now that kind of transition takes longer, and that transition time depends on how wide the interval is. So this is only a major second, so it's not that long for it to make that, for the player to make that slide. So I did scoot that note a little bit ahead of the beat so that the slide happens as a transition, and then the re-attack, the pluck, lands on the beat. I'll put the click in. So you just you have to use your rhythmic feel and timing, and ears to adjust those notes to put them where you want them in the rhythmic context of your song. I think later in the track down here, I had to adjust that one too. I'll put the click in. So you just kind of, see how wide the interval is you're doing, and place those notes, in a musical way. You can adjust the speed of the transitions for those slides by using this knob here. So if it's set to 0, that means 0% transformation is happening. It's the original recorded duration for the transition sound. If I turn this all the way up to 100%, it means I'm applying a 100% transformation, meaning it's now twice as fast. So that transition is twice as fast, meaning it's going to take half as long. It's sort of a weird way of thinking about it. Or you can turn it to negative 100%, meaning that duration of that transition is now 100% longer, which means it's twice as long as the original. So, that's sort of like if your tempo is really extreme, or, you just, I think if you want, basically, if you wanted to have your notes really close together, you might want to speed this up so that you can fit them in a sort of, if you had a lot of eighth notes that were all one after another, that would be a really kind of extreme thing to do on the guitar. I sort of leave this legato 2 mode just for like 1 or 2 times in a phrase at most. It's sort of like an extra little spice, but it's not the sort of main articulation I would use. So that's the legato. Now there are a couple other little things here. I did this grace note. Let me back up here again. So we have in the Commodore main articulations. So these are latching articulations. If you play any of the key switch keys like C1, C sharp, D, until you choose another one, that's going to remain the active articulation. So it's on D sharp 1 now. But if I play any of these lower keys, it temporarily makes one of these articulations active. So in this case, we're talking about the one on C0, grace note. So if I play a C1 on the keyboard down here, you'll see it's now active. And any note I play while I'm holding that down will have a grace note. And then when I let go, we go back to regular legato. So I use that grace note here. And then there are a couple special ones that are always available, which are these fall triggers. So I did that right at the end. I played the A, which triggered a low fall sample from the note that I was holding. So let's just listen one more time, and that's it. I'll put a little MIDI file of this. I'll put a link to the MIDI file in the description so you can check this out if you want. Here it is.